The ocean always smells the same way. Salt and rot. A smell that can instantly pull you back years. You know that feeling, right? The ache for a place you haven't been since childhood. You think it is just nostalgia, but there is something deeper at work here. By the end of this story, you will understand why your memory favors stone over skin, and how recognizing that pattern can change where you feel most at home. It feels strange to miss a specific view more than a person who shared that view with you. You might think about an old friend, but instead, your mind keeps drifting to the worn wooden bench in the park, or the specific slant of light hitting the kitchen counter years ago. This feeling, this intense longing for a time and place that no longer exists, is common. It affects how you plan your life. It changes what you value when you look at someone else. The truth is, this missing isn't about simple memory. It speaks to something fundamental about how human connection actually works. But why does the perfect photograph of a location feel more real than a deep conversation? The first reason has to do with reliability. People are complex. You cannot map out who they will be tomorrow. Their moods change, their priorities shift. They challenge your comfort zone in unpredictable ways. A place, though, offers consistency. Think about the smell of rain on hot asphalt after a long drought. That scent is always reliable. It means one thing, that relief. When you go back to a familiar spot, a childhood home, an old café, the environment does not betray you. The walls are still there. The sounds remain constant. They hold your memories in place like anchors. The physical setting provides boundaries and rules. You know exactly how far the curb is from the sidewalk. You know which tree sheds leaves when. This structure gives you a sense of safe predictability. It is comforting to know that reality itself has not changed its mind. People, however, require constant emotional effort. They demand adaptation. But this craving for static certainty suggests something else at play. It points to how we actually process attachment. But the feeling isn't really about stability alone. There was one element it missed, the lack of individual agency. You are always changing. The place does not have to change with you. This brings us to the way our minds use scenery as a kind of emotional storage unit. Think back to a trip where everything felt perfect. Maybe it was standing on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The sheer scale of the view must feel humbling. At that moment, your mind focuses entirely outward. It is overwhelmed by beauty. Because you are looking at something so vast and unchanging, the endless curve of the horizon, you stop thinking about yourself or the people near you. You simply exist in the sensory input. Nature does this for you constantly. A mountain range doesn't care what job you have. The ocean doesn't judge your failures. It just is. This kind of silent, massive presence makes emotional processing easier. With a place, you are allowed to become small. You are allowed to be uncomplicated. You can simply absorb the moment without having to perform for anyone else. There was one thing it missed about that feeling, the weight of shared context. We build our deepest memories around specific physical backdrops. A conversation felt meaningful because you were sitting at a specific table. The creak of the floorboards added character. The sound of faraway traffic provided background rhythm. These places become containers for your identity. They are not just scenery, they are characters in the story of who you are becoming. But that raises a harder question. If the place is merely a container, what happens when we start feeling like the place itself? What if the longing isn't about going back, but about reclaiming a lost version of yourself within those walls? The biggest revelation here involves projection. When you miss a place, you are not missing bricks and mortar. You are intensely missing the specific emotional state you occupied when you were there. The physical location becomes a shortcut for a deep feeling, a feeling of safety, belonging, or intense self-discovery. We treat places like emotional bookmarks. They mark where we felt most fully ourselves. This is why the memory feels so sharp and clear. Because every time you revisit that image in your mind, you are not recalling the location. You are recruiting the deep, calming feeling it once housed for you again. The place becomes a safe proxy for an emotional state you wish to access right now. It's not about going back. It's about accessing the feeling of being there. The most powerful thing to understand is this shift in focus. You are always looking for external validation for your internal needs. When you feel lost, you search for a physical place that will make you feel found. This longing tells you what emotional state you truly need right now. It gives you a map of your own heart. You don't need to travel back in time or space to find the comfort you seek. You only need to identify the core feeling the location represents for you. A quiet library might represent intellectual safety. A busy market might represent wild, uncontrolled possibility. The lesson is not to chase places, but to locate the internal state they point toward. You can carry that needed feeling with you anywhere. The deepest form of belonging does not require a zip code. It requires noticing what emotional need your heart is trying to fill today.